Cheers, everybody. Welcome, and let's discuss this mess. I have a huge mess. Just stay tuned, and we will get to the bottom of this, of where I've been and why we have such a huge mess. Hey everybody, I am so glad to be back. It's been so long since I've seen you guys all, and it might just be a few more days before we get an actual review out. I've been traveling for a month, all sorts of cool places. Been home briefly between a couple places, but it has been a whirlwind since beginning of November. But I am super glad to be back. However, have a huge mess to take care of. But let's first start off where we are in this bar. As you can see, there are bottles everywhere. Just a giant mess. My closet is a mess for the bar. The floors are a disaster. There is dust everywhere, and trash needs to go out. Packing supplies need to be put up. Bottles need to be organized and cataloged. That's the hard part. Whenever you check the list on the website of how many bottles we have and what kind, and the types and everything, it is usually about 50 bottles shy, because I'm that far back. As soon as I get them logged in, we end up getting some more, and as you can see, the whole top is full of stuff from our last adventure, and then a couple of smattering of stuff we're drinking. But it has been a disaster. And so over the next day or so, I'm going to get in here and clean. I've got to dust every single bottle, and there are about 1,300 plus in here. So we got to clean every bottle, wipe it down, because there's dust everywhere. We live in a high dust area, and without constant maintenance, it gets really bad. Plus, I have two giant doodles that are pushing 100 pounds each, and they play outside, and they bring a lot of dirt and dust inside, and it just settles everywhere. So we'll be spending the next day or so on this, because I have a big whiskey event on Saturday here at the house, and so got to get everything in order for that. Where have we been? At the beginning of the month, we went to Ireland, and that was mostly just a relaxing, recharging trip that was a bit whiskey focused. We had some nice... went to Ireland, went to Teeling and Jameson, and a couple of other smaller distilleries. Went to lots of whiskey bars, went to a lot of pubs, drank a lot of beer. Got to see some cool sights. I kissed the Blarney Stone, went to a couple seaside places, did some adventure kind of touristy stuff, and then we came home for just a few days. We were gone about 9 days, I guess, on that trip, or 7 days, I can't remember. And we came back. My wife and I both got sick on the way back. We got food poisoning. I think I mentioned that in that kind of What's Going On video. And we were out almost the entire time until we left again. But we finally recovered from the food poisoning. Got some things done. I went to several whiskey events here in North Texas, a couple bottle drops and whiskey events, and then we loaded up and headed back overseas. This time we went to the Balkans. I knew going in that this wasn't going to be a whiskey-rich environment, and I was correct. All the whiskey that I did get was through duty-free shops. So going in, we stopped at 2 airports. Coming back, we stopped at 2 airports. So we brought back our maximum limit of duty-free. Maybe a couple more than we should have, but yeah. And then we hit Albania. So starting with Albania, all the countries we hit were former Yugoslavian countries or independent before World War I. If you don't know, which surprisingly a lot of people don't know, after World War I, the Ottoman Empire fell, and Yugoslavia was created out of a bunch of different kind of ethnic countries, ethnic regions. And it was taken over by the Nazis in World War II, and then kicked out by the Soviets, and became a independent communist country called Yugoslavia, as Yugoslavia before, but Yugoslavia, run by a dictator named Tito. And then in the 90s, early 90s, 1991 to be precise, it collapsed from communism, and there were several independent movements. And probably the most famous one that you guys know about is the Bosnian Serb War. But Albania had a little war, kind of got involved, and some of the other countries we visited. But we visited Albania. Awesome country, just really cool stuff. I initially hit the ground running, fell in love with it, fell in love with the people, fell in love with the sites we visited, some ancient castles and cool locations, old cities of Triana, I think it's Triana. I had a hard time with the language. It was vastly different than I'm used to. And so it was difficult. My wife always makes fun of how I say things to begin with. You should know that with Scotch. Nice ethnic meals. I fell in love with the food as well as the people, and was introduced to, kind of reintroduced to, the local liquor. They call it rakia, and basically it's a non-grain whiskey. It's a distilled from whatever, pears, apples. It's a brandy, basically. We had been introduced to it when we were in Hungary several years ago, and they called it Slivovic, which is still kind of there. That's more of the plum stuff. From there, we went to Montenegro. I always get those countries mixed up. Montenegro. Step up from Albania. Not that Albania is bad. I loved it. But a little bit more economically stepped up. I think Albania is probably the poorest of the countries we met. And Montenegro was beautiful, great landscape, just amazing drive. Probably land of 1,000 tunnels. Just amazing. And again, drank too much rakia. And more shows. Then we hit Bosnia, and not Bosnia. Then we hit Croatia, and this was fabulous. Croatia was cool. We went to the ancient city of Dubrovnik, drank more rakia, and a bunch Split, another great city, cool castles, Dubrovnik. I just said it once, now I can't say it again. It was an amazing ancient castle that had actually been under siege for 100 days, being bombed with cannons or artillery and shot up and blown up in 1991. Is this giant castle city, a city fortress. And Dubrovnik, I knew how to say it when we started. It'll be right here. Was just mind-boggling. This ancient, 500-year-old Italian-style city, surrounded by these high walls we climbed, to know that people were in it less than 30 years ago, or right at 30 years ago, being attacked and hiding in there and getting blown up. And it just brings forth all the things that go on in this world today that you just like, I don't understand. But then we traveled through there, went to some amazing national parks and falls, and drank more rakia. And then we hit Slovenia, and this was it was just amazing. And it's more in Europe or in the European shelf continent than the Asian European continent. I don't know, there's a dividing line of plates and blah, blah. But it was just amazing. We stayed in Bled, and we did go to Zagreb in Croatia, but we stayed in Bled in Slovenia, and went to Ljubljana and just had an amazing time. Bled's a nice lake that's got a kind of a fortress island on it, but then it's got this castle overlooking the top, and it was cold and snowy, and it was just beautiful. Drink more. And that was great. And then we got back. I've recovered for a couple days. Not really feeling sick, just tired. 11-hour trip just from one airport to the next, and it was a two airport hop. But now that I'm back, I can go through this mess. I can talk to you guys about rakia. It's one of my new favorite liquors, and it's got such a wide variety of changes. So our next episode will be on rakia. But you have so many different types of flavor profiles. It's just outstandingly amazing. So yeah, we got all that looking forward to. I'm going to do another special episode coming up on Jack Daniels because your boy here finally became a Tennessee Squire. So I have kind of a little exclusivity membership with Jack Daniels that I'm very happy and was very excited to get nominated and be accepted. It was amazing, and still working on finding the last of my Jack Daniels rainbows, unicorns, whatever. But got a lot of Scotch episodes coming up, a lot of bourbon episodes. Of course, it is the holidays, so Cody and I will try to get out a couple holiday drinks for you, cocktails, hopefully in the next day or so. We are going through a family tragedy of family member passed away, my wife's aunt, so we're going to funerals and stuff. But I will just get back to you in that. And speaking of the devil, Cody just came in, so we will have hopefully some Christmas cocktails and get those going for you. But first, we got to tackle the mess. All right, guys, glad to be back. Hopefully you are too. You got lots of comments sent to me about why I haven't posted videos. Now you know, and I hope to get some out to you rather quicker than later. And Cody's doing something off camera. He's like playing, but I don't know. All right, you guys, have a great time. Oh, there he is. Have a great time, and we will see you in the next episode. Cheers, everybody.